Let's talk about the championship playoff, though. Luton Town came back from a 2-1 deficit over Sunderland to win 2-0. So Ethan Horvath has booked his ticket to the championship final, and the winner of that will go on to the Premier League. That'll be incredibly exciting.
How big's their stadium again?
Luton Town is 10,000.
10,000. Love it, dude.
They're 90 minutes away from making it happen. Coventry, though, they outlasted Middlesbrough. Now, Borough, Zach Steffen's in goal for them. Came off his line, and maybe he could have done a little bit better. And
at home too.
Yeah, at home. My big concern here, I know that there's going to be some grief for Zach Steffen and some responsibility that he's going to have to assume. That's the rough life of being a goalkeeper anytime a goal hits the back of your net. But the fact that Middlesbrough, who scored so many goals during the championship season, couldn't find the big goals in the big moments, I think is more telling than a potential defensive lapse. And what I tell my goalkeepers when I coach too is that if you make a mistake, there's usually 3 or 4 mistakes that happened before that got to that point. Now, sometimes you are the one that created that mistake, of course, but there's usually some breakdown somewhere that could have really just eliminated that whole play. And so I try to take that pressure off my goalkeepers who are younger and a little bit more fragile than Zach Steffen, I would say. But
that was literally the case of yesterday with Columbus and Galaxy, which was like, Eric Zavaleta pulled out to the sideline, gets beat. Another guy doesn't track a runner. Now he's on through, and then it comes Jalen Neal. He has an opportunity to force the guy down to the sideline. He allows him to cut inside, and then it's just he gets a good look from like 7 yards out with a full goal, and you're like, what's Jonathan Bond going to do in that situation, right? And could he have done more? Like, could he have laid out? Maybe, but like there was like 7 things happened before that could be prevented.
So we got Ethan Horvath in the final at Luton Town taking on Coventry. That is going to be a fantastic game, and looking forward to when that kicks off. I'm actually going to look it up right now. I don't even know when that kicks off, but we're definitely going to make some time for that. But yeah, we'll figure it out here in a second. Oh, it's actually this Saturday, 8:45 a.m. Pacific, 11:45 a.m. Eastern time. So that'll be a great one. All right. We had some midweek notes. You said you called some games, right, Heath?
Some.
We called one game, but there were a whole bunch of games happening yesterday. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to Austin FC, who, speaking of Josh Wolf, was under the gun a little bit in terms of feeling some pressure, feeling some heat, not getting results. And they went into Seattle. Seattle's like the slump busters because Sporting Kansas City hadn't won a game yet. And they went to Seattle and also got a win, but Austin pulls out a big 2-1 win there. And then Sporting goes into LA, where I was last night, LAFC for Sporting Kansas City, and it was finished 1-1. And Denny Bouanga said afterwards that Sporting Kansas City is one of the best teams he's played so far this season because they actually try to play. But that doesn't always mean they get results. So this is going to lead ultimately into us talking about MLS player salaries in the next block of the show. But any results surprise you by any stretch of the imagination there, Heath? Outside of the one you called?
No, actually, Charlotte have been in a run of form. I think 3 wins in a row now. In the league.
Chicago though, come on.
Yeah, but like and the fact that the turnout that they had for a midweek game from their support, like that was my first time going to the lower.com field in Columbus, the new stadium. Amazing stadium, solid turnout, good atmosphere. But when I saw some of the others that like you never know on a midweek, right? And you and I both know what a midweek used to look like in Major League Soccer, right? Which was like you could see the tumbleweed. And you could hear like
you can hear the mob talking to a kid.
Yeah. Every time somebody yelled at you, you knew exactly where they were in the stadium and exactly who said it. You could read their lips when they were doing it. And now like that commitment to showing up during midweek, and obviously there's some rivalry stuff going on this week and things like that. But I appreciated that. And for a team to go 3 on the bounce after like their start to the season was horrible. And they weren't just losing, they were losing bad in their first few games. And so now they've turned it around. I think that's great for that club.
Okay. It's gonna be interesting to see. I'm bummed for Robin Fraser. You did the same when you go get coffee or you get to see any of your friends that are kind of in the trenches of the thing. And then they don't have good results. You're like, oh man, that kind of sucks. And so the Colorado Rapids lost 4-0 to Atlanta United last night. FC Cincinnati actually beat a pretty good Montreal team who hadn't given up a goal in 4 straight games. So some pretty interesting results from an MLS perspective. And we're actually going to talk a little bit more about MLS and their expansion, the 30th team in league history to San Diego.